Welcome to your future in finance. If you're joining me today, you are officially stepping into the College of Business Administration. Think of this explainer as your official executive briefing for BF 412, Financial Management, right here at Adamson University. I am so pumped to guide you through exactly what to expect this semester. We're going to cover the whole shebang from the underlying philosophy of the course straight through to the hardcore strategies you will be mastering. Plus, we're kicking things off with a pretty massive interactive challenge at the end. But hey, before we dive into the money, the capital, and the investments, we really need to talk about purpose. And that purpose is beautifully captured right here in the Adamson University mission. It states that as a catalyst of social transformation, we provide quality services that empower others to become agents of change. Now, this isn't just some nice quote to put on a brochure. Actually, scratch that. It is the literal foundation of every single thing we're going to do in this class. So, here's our roadmap for today's briefing. We'll start with our Welcome to BF 412, dive into the course overview, go through grading and policies, and finally, jump right into the Vincentian Venture kickoff. All right, let's jump straight into Section 1, Welcome to BF 412. First things first, you need to know who is guiding you on this journey. You're learning from James Paul I. Menina, and honestly, he brings just an absolute powerhouse combination of high-stakes financial experience and deep civic responsibility. He holds an MBA, he's currently a Doctor of Business Administration candidate, and just look at that background. Over a decade navigating the intense floor of the Philippine Stock Exchange as a trader, perfectly balanced by his vital civic roles, like being a former AI Film Life licensed financial advisor and a former PEG IBG Fund Member Services Officer. Oh, and he also serves as the advisor to the Junior Financial Executives, or JFINEX. What's really fascinating is his academic and research focus. It brilliantly bridges the wild, cutting-edge world of tech, like Web3 and cryptocurrencies, with crucial, grounded topics like SME sustainability and higher education servant leadership. Plus, he has a serious track record of coaching student teams to victory in both local and international business innovation competitions. So yeah, you are in incredibly capable hands for sure. Now, you might be wondering how we approach things differently here. Well, traditional finance usually has tunnel vision. It's all about profit maximization at all costs. But here, we practice Adamsonian finance. We don't just balance the books. We balance our social responsibility. We're looking closely at ethical leadership, corporate governance, and community service. The core belief is that true, lasting financial success actually uplifts the marginalized and respects human dignity. It's a real game changer. And that ties perfectly into the 3 C's: competence, character, and charity. Everything we do is anchored right here. You'll build competence through critical thinking and technical savvy. You're going to build character by actually becoming an agent of social transformation. And charity, that comes from acting in solidarity with those in need, keeping the spirit of St. Vincent de Paul alive. It ensures your razor-sharp financial skills are permanently paired with unshakable ethical integrity. Moving right along to Section 2, Course Overview and Core Expectations. Let's look at the strategy. So what is BF 4.0 all about? Basically, it's your strategic engine room. This course equips you to understand exactly how real-world financial managers make both the gritty short-term operating decisions and the massive long-term investment decisions. You're going to use incredibly practical financial tools, techniques, and theories to evaluate complex investments and ultimately drive corporate sustainability. Here is exactly how your semester is going to unfold. It's a very logical progression. We kick things off in weeks 1 and 2, looking at the roles and alternative forms of business organizations. By weeks 3 and 4, we dive deep into the nuts and bolts of preparing financial statements and crunching liquidity and profitability ratios. Week 6 is huge. That's when we tackle the time value of money. Then, week 7 brings us to bonds and equity securities, where we look at default risk and legal rights. And finally, by week 9, you'll be handling complex stock valuations using expected rates of return and constant dividend growth models. The big takeaway here, by the end of this journey, you absolutely will not just be memorizing dry formulas. You're going to truly understand fundamental concepts, apply capital budgeting techniques, conduct serious risk-return analysis, and evaluate heavy financing decisions. And most importantly, you're going to do all of this as discerning practitioners who naturally integrate Vincentian values into your corporate citizenship. All right, Section 3, Grading and Classroom Policies. Let's talk about how you succeed here. When it comes to grades, your daily grind matters the most. Look at this grading split. 60% of your grade comes from your class requirements.
That means your day-to-day quizzes, assignments, and recitations are doing the heavy lifting. The remaining 40% is for your major examinations. This setup is specifically designed to reward consistent effort, proactive preparation, and just showing up ready to learn every single week.
Now, zooming in on that 40% for the major exams, notice how the stakes actually increase as you build your competence. Your prelim and midterm exams are weighted at 30% each, but it all culminates in a final exam period weighted at 40%. The logic here is simple. As your mastery of financial management grows throughout the term, you get the opportunity to prove it when the stakes are at their absolute highest.
Okay, I need you to mentally highlight, underline, and circle this number, 70. That is the minimum semestral grade you need to successfully pass this venture. If you land in that 65 to 69 range, you're in remedial or removal exam territory, which you want to avoid, and anything 64 or below is an automatic fail. So keep your eyes firmly on the prize and aim well above that 70 mark.
To hit that target, you really need to understand our classroom policies. And honestly, we treat these not as arbitrary school rules, but as your first real-world test in professional accountability. Attendance for MS Teams live discussions is totally mandatory because it fosters teamwork. You will always get a solid 2 weeks notice for live sessions, giving you plenty of time to ensure technical readiness. And deadlines? They are strict. No late submissions. Why? Because that builds the exact kind of rock-solid reliability that the financial sector demands.
To make all this happen, you'll be heavily utilizing a couple of key platforms. Blackboard is going to be your main hub for discussions, assignments, and course materials. Meanwhile, MS Teams is essentially our boardroom for live synchronous sessions and presentations. Treat these digital tools seriously. They represent the exact real-world digital environments where modern global finance happens every single day. And now, Section 4, the Vincentian Venture Kickoff. This is where things get fun.
I want you to imagine, right now, that you have just been handed a massive 1 million peso seed grant. Your one and only task is to launch a brand new social enterprise right here in Manila. So, what do? How are you going to design a business that balances fierce, highly competitive financial strategy with our core Adamsonian values? Here is your mission. Prove to us that you can generate immense business value while simultaneously being an agent of change and a person of faith in the service of the poor. This right here is where the rubber meets the road. You get to flex your creative and critical thinking muscles from day one, applying those exact institutional graduate outcomes we talked about earlier. So, if you're ready to participate in this kickoff, here's what you're going to do. Head straight down to the comment section of this explainer and format your business pitch using these 4 exact steps. Step 1, give us your group or student name. Step 2, provide your budget split. Step 3, tell us your one non-negotiable ethical rule. And Step 4, give us a punchy, one-sentence elevator pitch that describes what your venture actually does. Now, a quick note on that budget split in Step 2. You must allocate your funds strategically across 3 specific categories, and they have to total exactly 100%. First, operations, keeping the lights on, the basic running costs. Second, employee welfare and tech. How are you investing in your people and your tools? And third, community impact. What is your measurable Vincentian social return going to be? Go ahead and drop your venture pitch in the comment section below this explainer, and I highly, highly encourage you to read each other's ideas. Hit reply, start collaborating, and get genuinely excited for the incredible semester of discovery ahead of us. Seeing how you all choose to balance competence, character, and charity in a single startup pitch is going to be absolutely fantastic to read. The funds are hypothetically sitting in your account, the tools are completely at your disposal, and the semester is officially underway. So the only question left to ask as we wrap up this briefing is, what kind of impact will you choose to make? Are you ready to become a true financial agent of change? I really can't wait to see what you build. Welcome to BF412.